And welcome to another News Game Plus. I'm Dermie, and I'm here with New Game Plus executive producer Jason O'Callaghan. Sorry, I've been sick. I haven't thought of a clever, witty intro.
You sound like death for what it's worth, yeah.
Yeah, I got to remember to press this button when I cough.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a fright.
We do have a cough button, so it's something we're going to have to, formalise later, because you are definitely dying at the moment. So.
Yeah, my kids had germs, and dodged them for a few weeks, and then my kids gave me germs, and kids suck.
Nice.
I don't know why we even do it.
Yeah, well, propagation of the species and all that. That's all right,
Propagation of all my money.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. So anyway, look, I just saw that thing pop up on your screen. We probably have to address the giant issue this week because it is the big issue.
And this is where I get myself into trouble, but that's all right. You go first.
Well, I suppose I'm definitely going to reach over this button potentially, but look. Okay, now I used to do a lot of old Game Plus streams with Oz, and you used to come in, we used to talk, and somehow we managed to never during those streams message any underage girls. What the okay.
So look, okay. So for those who don't know, someone from Twitch has come out and said that the reason Dr. Disrespect was kicked from Twitch, or like was released from Twitch rather, is due to him messaging inappropriate stuff to a minor.
It's sexting, and he's admitted it now.
Well, he's admitted that he messaged her. He hasn't admitted that he was sexting. He hasn't admitted that there was any intent to do anything. But this is my... It hits 2 points, right? Number one, he's an absolute gronk. Like, why would you potentially throw away millions of dollars? And we are talking millions of dollars.
Hang on, hold up. Are you suggesting that there's a Twitch streamer who's an absolute gronk?
Right. Now you made it 3 points. Okay.
We've just gone somewhere here.
You've made it 3 points. Okay. So bear with me. The first one to me is, like, he's an absolute gronk for messaging inappropriate stuff to a minor. Let's just be clear. Like, you shouldn't be doing that.
He's 30-something years old.
Right, full stop, right? But and maybe this is naivete, and I'm happy to cop that. I believe him when he says there wasn't an intent to have sex with the kid, right? And this is where the pedo label comes out a lot.
There's a few steps required before the actual sex happens, right? And they hadn't got there. I think... Yeah, okay. I'll let you finish that because I think there's some nuance with this that's going to get that a lot of people are going to throw away.
Yeah. Did he deserve to be kicked? Absolutely. Why would Twitch ever want that as something they think? Should he have done it? Absolutely not. But people are very quick nowadays. If I don't like you, you're a pedophile. Like if I don't like you, like you're a pedo. You're definitely trying to have sex with children. It's like, I don't think that's true of everybody. Like, I understand that that's the easy... Because it's such an abhorrent thing, right? It's such an abhorrent thing to be or to do. And so it's such an easy accusation to say. But I'm like, if you keep using... It's like what they've ruined gaslighting. They've ruined narcissism. They've ruined grooming. Because they just use it too freely. Like, it just becomes boy who cried wolf. You know what I mean? And
they'll do that. Now, which is interesting because they still... they'll go off... Not on a tangent here, but... we still don't know who went to Epstein's Island officially.
Well, but this is the thing with Epstein's Island, right? Is it's like, he did all of the gross groom, like all the gross kind of trafficking stuff with girls, but he also just handled a lot of people's money. He also had connections to people who wouldn't normally have those connections. He was an influence peddler, and the easiest way to peddle influence with some people is to get him with compromise, having sex with 70-year-olds.
He was an influencer.
Yeah, it was an actual influencer. Yeah,
and I've had a theory for a long time because you see a lot of news articles will try and say it's a conspiracy theory that there's a lot of pedos not in power yet. Yeah. I reckon that's actually the now that being gay is not the slur it was, the
stigma that it was. Yeah.
It used to be a meme. Republican politician gets caught leaving gay bars. Right? It used to be a meme for a reason. The one left is pedo, and that's why he can be used very effectively for blackmail, and that's why I believe that a lot of people who succeed are of that inclination by design.
Yeah.
So they can
and there's a lot of them that are covered
that's a tinfoil hat one.
Yeah, no. But I mean, there's
Church, Epstein,
there's ones that
Weinstein, There's just a trail of them. There's an ex-prime minister whose name's locked for like 86 years. We're not allowed to find out who the federal police believe is a pedo. There's Australian High Court judges who the federal police believe as well, and that information has been locked away.
Yeah.
There's so many stories of it on TV. There's all these TV stars. There's the guy from Hey Dad that the girl was complaining about while he was happy.
Jimmy
and they
Savile,
told her to shut up. So Jimmy Savile, close ties to the royal family. Well, you got Prince Andrew, very close ties to the royal family. There's just so many. This comes up all the time, so much.
And that's why I feel like watering it down is bad, because if you start just throwing it out everywhere, everyone's just going, oh yeah, they're calling someone else a pedo, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, when it's like I'm sure there are organised networks out there, and I'm not saying run to your local pizza store and storm the basement, but what I'm saying is that people in power who need to be protected and have these proclivities have the resources to protect themselves. It's like any vice they could think of. You know what I mean? If they were an alcoholic, you'll never know about it because they're drink driving. I mean, you know, if you're a drink driver and you're rich, I mean, you know, if you're Peter Credlin and you're caught having a few too many shardies and driving your car, who even talks about that nowadays?
You can be an ex-Victorian Premier and believe that it's breath mints.
Yes, Cool Mints will blow off the thing. I remember when he said that to Neil Mitchell. I was listening to it that day on 3 All White, because Nan used to run 3 All White.
Yeah.
And even Neil Mitchell, as much of a gronk as he became, he was incredulous. He's like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
yeah, but he believes it because he got away with it now.
Yeah.
But let's
yeah, that had nothing to do with.
Yeah, let's go to. Well, that's privilege if you don't even understand why you're getting away with stuff.
Yeah.
But let's go to Twitch though, right? Because look, this is obviously. Okay, with Twitch's standards have become so non-existent. They're not quite Kick yet. I mean, Kick is just abhorrent.
Yeah.
Which is it's embarrassing to have that as an Australian company. To be honest. But,
well, they're run by a betting company, so you're already starting pretty low in the barrel.
But if you're streaming platforms like where people can organise pay prostitutes to come to the backyard and have punch-ons with guys for streaming content, then you probably Kick should have a dedicated police unit watching it, and then just go around and just arrest them.
I've got a story about PAX for Kick, but yeah.
PAX, okay.
No. We had the PAX glitch, and there was this kid there, and that Kick were giving away T-shirts, and he obviously got a free T-shirt, and he had an all Insta 360 camera, like a one that films the whole room. And he was standing in my line, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, mate, what are you recording?" Blah blah. And I was just wording him up like any copper would. And he just didn't realise. He just kept, and then he realised. He just tweeted, goes, "Oh, I don't work for Kick. I'm sorry. Like I don't work for Kick. I'm just." I was like, "That's fine. That's all I wanted to hear." Because I said, like, just be warned that you are putting a bit of a target on yourself because you have got the Kick shirt on. If I see, like, if Ice Poseidon showed up to this thing, like, I'd show him what, actually being kicked out of the thing. Oh, he was one of the main ones who was on there.
Yeah, so he's probably just going to do a prank bro or film in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But let's talk Twitch's standards. Now, Twitch went very quickly from the meme went so quickly to a porn site they didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Twitch has let its standards go for both male and female streamers because they make good money from the platform, and they've had no standards. Now Twitch, I've got a problem. I watched. Now, Alana Pierce did an excellent video about this and about.
Most of her videos are excellent.
About why companies don't come out, and she had a valid point, which said Twitch wouldn't have said the real reason Dr. Disrespect got banned originally because they're protecting the girl involved, right? Assuming it's a girl, could be a boy. I don't even know that. Actually, it's an underage person. But anyway, they're protecting them. Now, I get that, and that's fair, and I totally understand what she's saying. But I'd also say, from Twitch's point of view, Twitch let him still continue, even though on another platform, for 4 more years, to still have an audience, to still have... Now, my son was telling me that there's Dr. Disrespect posters up in his school, right? So kids watch that shit.
Between him and Forsen, it's like the two main meme generators.
And even my son said, he said, well, they've got to come down now.
Yeah.
We watched the video about it. He said, they've got to come down. They're all going to be taken down, right? But that's how you look now. Now you know it. But if you hadn't known that 4 years ago, they would have come down 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So Dr. Disrespect had 4 years of... nobody knew what it was.
Yeah.
It helped his image a little bit.
Yes,
this idea that
because he came as a rebel. It looked like a rebel,
I was about to say exactly that word. Yeah. So he's had 4 years of leverage off that. Now, sure, now he's had to walk away from the company, start all that sort of stuff. Walk away, he got sacked. But and he can spin it any way once. But he's had 4 years to still establish a fan base. When he apologized to his community, not to anybody else, not to the person involved. So Twitch has allowed him to keep going and to keep making money, which is where I have a problem. And I get the argument that you want to protect the other people involved because, yes, the internet will be savage and they will dox whoever the young person is and they will go after them because fans have a problem.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And that's not just Star Wars streamers. The fans have a problem, and they can't see their heroes doing anything wrong, which is another issue that as a society we have to come to terms with.
Yeah.
But yeah, by doing that, they've allowed him to have 4 more years of
It's
making
kind
money.
of I mean, and that kind of goes to 2 other ones there as well. Firstly, this is where I question what actually happened, right? I've no doubt that he's copped to messaging, sending inappropriate stuff to a teenager, being an edgelord to a teenager.
We haven't seen the messages,
Right, and that's my second point. So just hold on.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Sorry.
So from Twitch's point of view, it was enough for them to just get an easy. They had to settle out of court. They couldn't just get him for breach of contract. So it couldn't have been severe enough that they could have used criminal charges. If worse comes to it, they would have handed it to the police themselves.
So the FBI wasn't involved.
Right, that's what I mean. So they're not. There's not enough and obviously they wouldn't want the heat from that anyway, right? So they wouldn't do it unless they felt they could get out of it. This is the path of least resistance. So when it's all said and done, if there was that happening and they chose not to do it, there's a cowardice involved in that, right? And that's why I'm like, well, you wonder, how clean their hands are in it. But the second one is, if you are going to make those claims, you really need to back that shit up. Do you know what I mean? Like,
they had the messages.
That's what I mean,
They
right?
were apparently reading them, so they had that. Okay, so you're arguing that there's. I mean, we don't know the full story. Nobody's released it. Nobody's even leaked it. Apparently, the guy who did leak it was basically using that as leverage everywhere to promote his band or something.
Yes, and I mean, I'll be surprised on Twitter that someone's using... This is what I'm saying. Like, this is why these accusations land, because it is such an abhorrent thing, and it's such easy rage fodder, because you should be angry. Like, any kind of child sexual assault should anger you. It should make you want to fucking rip someone's head off. You know what I mean? So
yeah, okay. There's another one there that you might have been going to go to, but I'll say it to save you getting cancelled. How old was the person?
17.
Okay, cool. Look, okay, this is going to come out wrong, and I don't mean this in any way to excuse what anybody does. Under 18 is under 18, and there's a reason
that's the social contract. I always say 18 is the social contract,
and that's fair. And as like a 55-year-old man, I've got no issue with that. I mean, I have Pornhub locked hard to MILF, so that I don't do anything like I'm not.
Yeah, so you're looking at a 25-year-old because that's what MILF is nowadays.
I'm not looking at. I'm not Randy. I'm not Randy Pitchford.
Magic trick.
That's barely legal section, but
well, that's true. Yeah, that is gross.
There also, when you make pedo accusations, there's. Again, as horrible as it's going to sound, there's a massive difference between 17 and 8, for example.
And the reason it's worth flagging that.
And I'm not excusing anything. I'm not saying anything's right or. About
I mean, that's the ephebophile argument, and I get it, but at the same time, my thing with it is. Well, I reckon the reason Twitch just settled was because it wasn't technically illegal. No matter what he did, I don't think it was technically illegal. Like, it would have been an age of consent. Well,
they said sexting, but that'd be words. Because if he sent a dick pic, we'd probably know that.
This is what I'm saying. We need to know what sexting means, right? No. Because sexting has a connotation. Sexting has an intent, a lustful connotation, right?
Yeah.
So you're out to do that. Whereas sending inappropriate material, which he's admitted to, right? And that's why he deserves everything that he's got, because he's admitted to being a fucking idiot, and he deserves it, right? But there is an intent behind, behind sexting. Like,
but there's been other streamers, and one of our first podcasts we did was some dude sending dick pics to people, right?
Yeah.
And there's that streamer that...
It's the power imbalance, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a certain streamer we know that got banned from Twitch, and they were like, we've solved the predator problem, guys. And this is way worse.
Yeah, I actually have a feeling... I'll refer to that after. Look, the thing is, with those things now, this is where I was going to go with Twitch's standards, right?
Yeah.
So Twitch's had no standards.
Yeah.
It's not kick yet, but it has had no standards because there's money to be made from these people, and these people are worth a lot. They're like sportsmen, right?
Yeah.
So AFL clubs and rugby clubs, they will never ever. There was a North Melbourne player, I won't name, but not a ex-one, a current one, who was doing a lot of domestic violence stuff.
Yes.
And the club got rid of him, and the CEO of North Melbourne apparently contacted I don't know if this is known or not. Apparently contacted other clubs and said, we've tried to send this guy to
whatever, counselling,
all these things to try and help him out. We just cannot change his behaviour, right? And that's what she wrote as CEO of North Melbourne to the other clubs. Other club CEOs then said, not to her, but it said to journalists and that, we will still pick him up
Yeah.
if North Melbourne delists him, right? So because he's a really good player.
Yeah.
Now and so what you've got here, we've got that version, and everybody's horrified when it happens with sportsmen and they get away with shit.
Yeah.
Everyone's horrified when it happens, and it makes all guys look bad. I know there's not all men, but the sportsmen are pretty fucking uncontrollable, right? But the streaming is like this too. And it's not just the male streamers. You see, there's female streamers get away with, like, kicking their cats and stuff on stream.
Yeah.
And sure, it's not the same level, but the complete lack of standards at Twitch would be why somebody like a Dr. Disrespect probably expected there would never be never be a consequence, because why would there be? Because you've got people sending dick pics to people. You got that. You got animal abuse on stream. You got also people having sex on stream. Things that
and I know a chick
happen.
from like 8 years ago who got in trouble because her top was too low. Like her top was cut too low. She saw too much of her boobs.
But the standards are just
they
going
banned
away.
her. Yeah, and they banned her permanently for that. And like nowadays, I'm like.
Nowadays, you can have a small kiddie pool in the background and claim that that's a
hot tub stream. Yeah.
Because Twitch is like that. So Dr. Disrespect is a creation of Twitch.
Yes.
As well
as
as
a cult. Yeah. As a
who he is. Twitch has made it, and they've made him big, and they've made him a lot of money, and they profited massively off him, knowing, I reckon, what happened. Well, they always do know.
Let's not let YouTube off the hook. They're the other CEOs that you're talking about. They're the ones who said, "We'll take you. Like we'll take you no matter what." The
they did, yes, and they would have known. Yeah. You can't tell me at that level those companies
wouldn't have talked. Yeah.
They know. Yeah. They've got departments that do this shit, right? Yeah. So they knew, and they didn't care because it was worth a lot of money. Because you had these fans. Why does he have the fans? Because the fans didn't know. It's like when politicians have all their stuff covered up by media and they don't tell anybody. So we keep voting for them because we don't know. We only know what's given to us, right? So the fans don't know, and then by that time it's too late because they're locked in.
Yeah.
They're fans of someone like a Dr. Disrespect, so they like him and they worship him, right? Then he can't do anything wrong because it's too late then.
And then it normalizes that behaviour. You know what I mean? It becomes this
Yeah, and then before you know it, those little kids are watching Dr. Respect. I mean, not to say it's a gateway drug, but where's it go? Who are you watching after that, right? So if you can excuse that behaviour from a hero, then hey, you make an excuse for anybody.
You can
for yourself.
I'll say you can in the footy world, you can do cocaine and glass your girlfriend and still show up for your media appointment the next morning.
You can turn on a footy broadcast every week and you'll see more than one rapist on every broadcast team, right? And look, the thing is, these things have to be done early, and this is where Twitch and video gaming has let itself down.
Yeah,
and we have had like Me Too sort of times. But when it comes to these players like your Dr. Disrespect, and there are others,
that tier of streamer you're talking about, like that kind of top 1%.
Yeah, real leadership needs to be shown, and Twitch hasn't shown it. Yeah. I mean, now, like I said, Twitch isn't quite kick yet, but it just hasn't shown. And YouTube didn't. He went to YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah. YouTube didn't either, right? Because they're all happy to take the money, and that needs to stop.
Yeah.
Because then you get these fan base, and the fan base will come back when Dr. Disrespect comes back. He will still get his fans will come back because they don't know any better, and a lot of them already. And I haven't looked, but I can guarantee every chat room talking this will have a lot of excuses for him, or blaming the girl for it. Was it a girl or a boy?
I think it was pretty sure it was a girl.
Blaming the underage person for it. There will be.
Yeah, I want to be clear. We're not doing that in anything that we've said. Like, he deserves every bit of chagrin that he gets for being edgy with it.
I know people like that. I'm happy to see out of the place.
Yeah.
Because he's taking the spot of somebody who's a decent person.
Yeah.
That's my issue with it. Every time somebody like that succeeds, they're taking money and fame and a position for somebody who's a nicer person.
They're stealing the oxygen in the room from someone.
Yeah, and the other thing that really annoys me about it is look, again, this is and women will go, you're doing the not all men thing. The fact is not all men, and you'll find that those of us who get so annoyed with this are saying, well, you know what? Let us other bears take care of them. Tell us it out and let us fix them up. Right? I know that's toxic masculinity, but we don't like them any more than you do, right? Because it's making the whole area just bad for everybody.
It's a don't shit where you eat kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like it's if men in X position are seen to be predatory, then anyone in that position suddenly suffers as a result because everyone's going to assume you're predatory, right? And that's no good for for other men to think. And the problem is, in the old days, we didn't police it. It's like, you knew he was bashing it behind doors, you did nothing kind of thing. And I've always been, I'm an old school public transport hero. Like, I'll jump in front of people when they're abusing random, whatever it is. I mean, on the bus from Dandenong, you see all types, right? I mean, I wouldn't want to be especially 20 years ago, I wouldn't want to be a Muslim kid on the bus to Dandenong, right? Before the Afghans really kind of
in Sydney, in Scott Morrison's
electorate, right? Yeah, right.
Don't want to be a gay guy.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, literally get kicked off the cliffs. Like, I know.
Allegation there, or
well, no, I mean that's an old one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean that's a well-known.
But if your dad's head of the police, anyway.
Yeah, right.
Allegedly,
but yeah. So to me, it's that thing of I feel like we don't know enough to really spout off yet. But I feel like if it is as serious as as this person claims, then Twitch has failed in its duty of care to everyone for not reporting it to the police. If it's still inappropriate but not, predatory, if you will, right? I mean, you could argue the power dynamic makes it predatory by virtue of existing, but it's to use that klaxon to promote yourself is dreadful, right? But when it's all said and done, I think this is the problem with the modern corporatocracy is that, will it cost us making money? Pay him out his couple of million.
Alana covered that in a very excellent segment about how corporates, they don't care about money.
Yeah.
If we want good young boys, and we keep talking about it, if we want good young boys and good young men, we need to be having their role models better than this. Yeah. And now, even if Dr. Disrespect only messaged a 17-year-old girl, and it was
edgy memes or something.
He was still doing it on Whisper or whatever it was. He was still doing it in a private chat area, doing a meetup. If it wasn't, and it clearly wasn't as innocent as it could be because of what's happened. Look, that's not a role model that we need to be putting in front of our sons. And this is where I say, if we are going to have, now I don't expect everyone to be squeaky clean because people can't. He hasn't come out and properly apologise or anything.
Oh, he's released a statement.
It's aggro. He's putting on the brave, the butchy persona sort of thing. That annoyed me. I don't watch him. Yeah. My kids knew who he was. They were all over this, right? They were talking about it 4 years ago when it happened, right?
Yeah.
It was
I knew about it, but I'm a mental 17-year-old. So
but companies like Twitch need to be better because the role models we're giving the young. We worry about young boys. We worry about what young men they'll become. And we've got to. Someone like a Dr. Respect has to be handled by Twitch sooner, and they have to take care of all their rat bags on their platform.
And this goes into some of those conversations around. And I'm gonna invoke certain spectres, the Petersons and that of this world. It's like. Young men looking for those answers, looking for, how do I navigate this modern world where they're going to be told, back in the old days, you didn't have to worry about that. Like, consent, whatever, man. She's had a few too many drinks, doesn't matter.
But Peterson's not in there. I get what you're saying, and I understand. And Andrew Tate and that, right? Yeah. And my son tells me that he's really popular with the boy
below him.
Right?
Yeah.
The 12-year-old. So they're coming into puberty watching Andrew Tate, and that's dangerous. But see, they're not in video gaming. So we look at video gaming and that. We do expect ourselves to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, yes, I mean, I can't believe Andrew Tate's still doing podcasts and he's in jail. And it's just, people are still making money off him. He's still worth money. And while you're worth money, there's corporations will put up with everything.
Yeah.
Like we listed a bunch of them at the start of the podcast. But we've got to give, if we're going to compete with that even, then we have to have better role models. And that means that the people who, a place like Twitch, and I believe they have a responsibility in a way, they have a responsibility to give young boys and young men role models who aren't messaging underage girls. Because he'd already admitted on a stream to cheating on his wife.
Yes, which is well known. Yeah.
So like... Twitch is not giving the right people for the young boys to look at. And look, sure, you can have your Andrew Tate and that, and we can't do anything about that. But I'm looking at the gaming space. Yeah. And our little field right now is really, really fucked.
Well, and again, that also does go to the levels of it. Is if you cheat on your wife, that's a breach of your contract with your wife. It's a default on the social contract, but as much as anything else, that's a personal. Yeah,
but you come back to your young fans.
And normalise it. That's the problem, right? Yeah. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like if I'm not excusing infidelity. Just leave them if you don't want to be there. Just leave.
Can I say, as a man who's been married for about 25 years, my wife might hear this and correct me. No, it's 26 or whatever. I don't know. But I've been married for about 25 years, right? Yeah. And I've got 2 kids. And as happens, there have been opportunities at times, right? You don't have to.
No.
Because this is where, like, you know, for these guys that, okay, I'm going to upset some people. I'm going to probably upset some people I know who are saying this, right? I see it as the supreme weakness for a guy to be like, I'm married, I got kids, but I really need somebody else. I see that as that's a hole in you. That is a weakness, and that's not to be celebrated or excused.
And I would argue there is a different, like I say, if you. Again, this is where it comes down to comfort levels with that kind of stuff. If you have another person that you're having an affair with and it's an emotional connection and you blah, 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 you have that excitement, I think that's pretty fucked, man. Like, blah, 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 like, why not try and achieve that again with, like, if it's that bad with your wife, then leave. You know what I mean? Like, we live in a world where you're allowed to divorce them now. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But the second one is like,
be a man.
I don't feel like that's the difference. If it's just like, if it's literally a physical thing, it's like, and you go to some prostitute or whatever, I feel like that's a lesser social crime. But that's just, maybe that's my morality coming through, right? But I've left a girlfriend because I had feelings for someone else. Like, I've put my money where my mouth was. Do I regret it? Absolutely. But I still put my money where my mouth was. I didn't just drag them along, lead them along. Yeah. And that doesn't make me a moral person. But I'm just saying.
The risk of sounding like an old man. Married and girlfriend are very different.
I understand that. Yeah.
So, well, and married with children. Everything else.
I was with her for 4 years. It wasn't like it was a nothing. Like, it wasn't. Yeah. It was like, wasn't like it was a.
People won't like what I said. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, look. The whole thing is, the whole Dr. Disrespect thing is, Twitch and YouTube need to be nipping this stuff in the bud. They need to tidy their houses up. This should be a real warning to them to say, hey, you have these people active on your platforms and you need to fix it because we need to be doing better. We need to get better role models. And this ain't it.
We're expecting the company of Alsagate to do better. I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, well, yeah, but can these kids are growing up with these as heroes, right? Yeah. And that has to stop. Yeah. It has to stop because we also have, like, there needs to be a safe space from your Petersons and Andrew Tates and all that, right? And that's gaming. Gaming's always been a place you can go, which is a little bit innocent and it attracts a different type of person. Yeah. It attracts a person who is a little bit of a loner, a little bit less social.
But they're also the easy ones to convert. They're the easy ones to black pill or red pill, as they say.
Get them into our space and get them into what we know and get them into a space with people who they don't have to moralize them. This ain't church. They have to get up and but won't be doing this shit. Yeah. And won't be at the point where and won't be covered up and hidden anymore. Leave that for the rest of the world. Our space needs to be better. Yeah. We've almost hit 30 minutes on this. We've guaranteed somebody's not going to like what either of us ever just said there.
That's all right. That's all right. We'll deal with that. Yeah. But
hey, when you get a chance, go watch Alana's take on it. Yeah. It's a good take.
I watch a lot of her stuff randomly, but Alana's the antithesis of everything on Twitch. It's like
the only thing
pretty, and she's got like good takes and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, it's criminal how good that lady is. So.
Yeah, well, I'd almost argue that for young girls, she would be an excellent role model.
I agree.
For the watch.
Absolutely agree.
So why can't we give equivalent, like, really quality role model males for the boys to watch? Yeah. And because it does matter at a certain time of their life. Anyway, look, it's. But I do disagree with her very strongly on. She had reasons. I think they're valid on why they covered it up. I think the covering it up. 4 years extra of Dr. Disrespect effectively becoming a hero because he was like the Julian Assange of this, right? Yeah. Like it just, and that was wrong, and that shouldn't have happened.
But maybe he's a Russian asset. Did you think of that? Anyway, let's cover other news. Okay, we've wasted 25 minutes on this.
I had other stuff. Yeah, sorry, I felt strong about that. What have I? Game Pass. Oh, thanks for light. Game Pass is come to Amazon Fire TV. You know those little sticks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is
the streaming thing. Yeah,
this is one of the things I always on the groups where they always talk about. In the over 40s and over 50s groups, they're still in console war mindset, which goes to show that if you've been indoctrinated by the advertising, then you can never shake it, right?
Yeah.
Game Pass is now on Samsung smart TVs, probably other smart TVs, but they're pushing to put them on others, and now the Amazon Fire TV sticks, which is a big deal because they sell a lot of those, and then basically how long until Microsoft just bites the bullet and goes, Xbox Series X is the last Xbox?
Yeah.
How likely is that? How long do you reckon?
I think they'll always release. What they might do is they might move to a situation where they go, cool, here is a laptop or a Surface or something like that they would call it kind of Game Pass approved or something to that extent that has that next level kind of processing, if you want, onboard processing. But then the argument would be they'd push down towards PC because they are the dominant player in the PC market. It's like 87% or something like that. So it's not even close from the competition. So I agree. I feel like it's not, the brand still has some value despite them watering it down with their recent kind of 6 months. But I feel like it still has enough value to justify some kind of hardware. But whether it's a bespoke Xbox, I think this will be the last generation of Xbox.
Yeah, well, I made the call in the podcast ages ago. I thought the Sony PlayStation 5 would be the last PlayStation because how Sony was going, but there's a chance this Xbox Series X might be the last Xbox because Game Pass is where it's at. It clearly is. They're trying to drive growth in it. Everything they're doing is. Mind you, they've stopped shutting down game studios because the reporting seasons for their shareholders is over. So the game studios are probably safe until
up to March. Until March next
year. Yeah, but there's a chance. Look, the Game Pass is their thing, and there's a chance that Xboxes. We might not see another one. I'm going to make that call now. It won't be long.
I don't think. Yeah, like I said, I think they will have some kind of dedicated Xbox gaming line, whether that's a collaboration with I'm thinking like a Lenovo or an Asus.
It'll be Xbox approved or something.
Yeah, correct. Like they used to do with MSX, right? MSX was basically, here is the minimum spec required, but anyone can make an MSX. It was like Panasonic MSXs. There was all these Japanese companies made MSX because it was a platform that their systems could hit or had at least these kind of processing powers, this kind of quality, these chips specifically.
Yeah.
I think that's something. I mean, who are those people? ATI people. What are they called?
Those people.
No,
here we go.
Not
tinfoil hat time.
AMD. Because
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah. AMD do all the chipboards and stuff for.
They're lasering my home.
Yeah. They do all the relax. They do all the chipboards and stuff for the Xboxes and the PlayStation. So they don't want to lose a customer. So they might just go into battle for themselves and say, hey, here we're creating this. It's like it's Xbox series, Xbox approved.
So what's the chance then if Microsoft goes fully Game Pass, what's the chance then you do get licensed consoles and suddenly you do have consoles you can buy off any electronics manufacturer that is
That's what I'm saying. Like I think that was what MSX was. MSX was exactly that. It was, here is the standard that's required. And if you have an NEC MSX or you have a Steam has done a little bit of that kind of thing, but it's always specifically a PC platform besides the occasional, Mac release or Linux release or whatever. And Valve has leaned into the Linux side they put more money into Linux than you would think they would, considering, right? Like their
Proton stuff's incredible now.
Yeah.
I remember the early days of Wine, running Wine on. That was, but Proton now. I mean, I was saying to people when the Steam Deck got announced, and they said, it's a PC. You can use the PC. I'm going, no, it's going to be Linux.
It's going to be Linux, and it is. And I mean, if you do want that PC, kind of thing with it as well, you've got the Asus ROG and Lenovo Go or whatever it's called, and so there are options available to people, but it's not quite the same as it once was in that thing. You're right. You're gonna die.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a cough lolly. I'm gonna die.
Don't. If you're gonna have a cough lolly, don't chew it, because it'll come through and sound like broken bones.
Yeah, can I not chew? What's the sucks a cough lolly?
Anyway,
hey, all right, now.
I suppose I don't have a butter menthol, but yeah, it's.
I love a good Werther's.
I like Werther's. What's wrong with Werther's? Fucking hell.
Okay, so you mentioned Steam, so I'll use that as a segue to the next thing I had here. How are we going for time?
Still got about 10 minutes, yeah.
Cough.
Here he goes again, just dying slowly.
I am dying. You made me do this podcast.
I made you. I dragged him down.
For a communist, far out. You bloody capitalist.
Yeah, back to the lines. Back to the lines.
Yeah. Well, anyway, okay. Steam has now. It's in beta. I don't know. It's in Australia. The game recording tool.
Yes.
Effectively runs like a dashboard cam. You can record stuff in the background. They can edit it and release it. Exports as MP4 files is pretty good. Yeah. It's always running. It's like Microsoft Copilot's AI, always recording a screen for later. But for this one, it's for something people actually want. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. Now Steam doesn't have it's streaming. Game streaming still uses its own platform, doesn't it?
Yes, everything uses their own platform. Yeah. I mean, if anyone's got the money for it, they do. They can just piss away $1 billion and not matter.
But adding a built-in game recording tool to be able to play back cool stuff is pretty neat in Steam. Look, it also just goes to show how far behind Epic is.
Yeah,
still.
Yeah,
So,
after all this time.
Yeah, you see 80% of people, I think it was, that use Epic only play the free games.
Yeah, I believe it.
And the other 20% have bought like one thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that 100%.
That's got to be just hemorrhaging.
I mean, some of those ones that would be like, you have to have an Epic account to play it. Like that's technically an Epic game. You know what I mean? Like the Rocket League kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, everybody in there, goddamn, you have to have an account of something to play it. Oh, yeah. Anyway, that needs to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a pretty cool addition to Steam. That's why I wanted to bring that up. Since you mentioned Steam, people are apparently complaining. Now I don't play Elden Ring, but people are complaining the DLC's too hard. Isn't that the point?
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about Twitch streamers who don't deserve a platform? As Mongoloid, actually I shouldn't say that. I'm going to bleep myself out when I go through that one.
Oh, Asmongold. Yeah, okay, yeah. I got that reference because I've seen his stuff. He does the reaction vids and watching stuff.
And he used to be a WoW streamer.
He's popular, but I don't know why.
Yeah,
because he seems very surface level. Did that just flash?
Yeah, was that? Did I imagine that? No.
No, definitely.
Which screen was it? He's heard us.
Yeah. Hello, Agent Johnson.
Yeah.
Good to check in. Hey,
nice of you guys. Yeah.
Thanks for releasing Assange. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Can you stop the AstroTurfers on Reddit though, please?
Yeah. Oh, and can you lock up all the Australian journalists that think Assange is not one of them?
Yeah.
Because if that's a standard, that you can take them.
Yeah.
We'll do a trade. You can take Neil Mitchell and that dickwhacker off ABC Breakfast, Rowland.
Your mate, Michael Rowland. Anyway,
Oh, sorry. We're just since they're flashing our screen, we're just mentioning that to our watchers.
Yeah. Just to get them off our back.
What were you saying?
Elden Ring.
Asmongold or whatever. Yeah. His takes are very surface level. But I don't know why. But he's massively popular. I don't know why.
No. It's because he already had the existing, like you said, he already had the momentum. He had the existing fan base. He had the whatever. He doesn't offer anything of value. It's like a lot of these people. Like you see him doing even videos on, the Dr. Disrespect stuff, and they're just sitting there and they're just using big words that they have no right using. Like they like, I'm not expecting you to come in with a treatise on why such and such is right or wrong, but at least they've done the bare minimum of looking. And also, the more you talk about, the easiest way for me to assume you're a liar. I just tell it like it is. I like to be devil's advocate. I like to take both sides of the coin. I'm like, okay, you're a liar.
Just asking questions, dude.
Just asking questions, And it's like you are prefacing your opinion so hard because you're either A, too cowardly to actually have an opinion, or B,
I'm not a something around the butt.
Trying to suss out which side will react the best to it, so then you can capitalize on that. And that's why I have no respect for anyone who's like, I'm just playing devil's advocate, or put so much emphasis on that. It's like, if you just say, look, just a thought exercise, let's do this. It's different. But if you keep harping on it, I was watching this video, and this guy just kept harping on the fact that I do both sides. I'm like, man, no one gives a fuck. Like, shut up. Like, you're not impressing anybody. Anyway, the DLC was too hard. He gave up on it on the first boss. They've actually nerfed it, I'm pretty sure. The first few bosses are easier now. So, Elden Ring, if you're doing the DLC for Elden Ring, if you've played enough of the... Because the Elden Ring DLC doesn't start... Like, you have to beat, like... Not end game bosses, but like mid to late game bosses before you can even unlock it. Because I'm pretty sure it's like a prequel. I don't like any of the Souls games. I'm going to put it out there right now. Give me a Bayonetta.
Yeah, but the whole point is they're hard. The whole point is you get wrecked. So I actually did find it weird. I was just seeing all this stuff scroll past, and I'm thinking, why are people complaining that it's too hard? Like, it's not a journalist game. It's supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't play it because it's too hard for me.
Yeah.
So, why complain?
Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's where, like, people like Osmongold and stuff like that are... You just don't pay attention to them. Like, it's not worth it. And the thing with it is Steam turned on them. Like, the Steam reviews are, like, mixed now. Like, for a game that was the game of the year for however long, and it's the most highly rated DLC since... Witcher Blood and Wine, one of the Witcher ones.
Okay.
So it's if you like Elden Ring, it's worth it. It's worth your $70. But it just seems like a lot more of the same. But I always loved the aesthetics of those games. I've always thought they look great. I always loved the storylines, all that kind of stuff. Or at least the character building and stuff. But I hate playing them. They just drive me nuts.
I'm actually surprised because normally you I would have thought the Souls games, those really hard ones, are right up your alley.
Nah, because it's so tedious to me to go, okay, I have so many frames to do this, and then I hit, and then I have to roll back, and I have to wait for it. I'm like, fuck that.
It's like Street Fighter.
Give me but less fun. Give me a Bayonetta or give me a Devil May Cry. Let me run in, do a 1,000-hit combo, be a sick cunt, use my reflexes, and I'm good with that. But
that's the difference. So you're not testing your reflexes and your speed and your skill.
Yeah. Well, you're testing a skill. It's just a different set of skills, right?
But it's the methodical approach.
Yeah, and I find that boring. Like, yeah,
okay.
like as someone who can usually brute force most things, I find it boring to not brute force stuff. So,
there you go. Actually, so you play like you live life.
pretty much. And it's funny too, except when I play in. I guess that's true. When I play Fallout, I play sniper rifles, or like long range weapons. And I play melee, unarmed melee.
Sniper rifles are annoying in Fallout because the moment you fire one, they all run towards you.
So I do that, and so I play Gauss rifle and unarmed melee. So I guess that is like real life. Like that's pretty true of how I live my life. Yeah.
I watched you playing. Was it Starfield?
Yeah.
When we were in Japan, and you were just hacking people up with machete.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
Well, in Fallout it's sledgehammer. I just get the sled.
Let him loose at the IPA.
I get the hammer out. I'm like, here we go.
Hey, we've probably only got time for one more, 41.
Yeah, and, one or two is fine.
Yeah, and Jamie, excellent feedback, Jamie. Thanks for that.
Hey, I wonder what his feedback's going to be for this one.
I actually mean that serious. I actually think that feedback's because I do ramble.
Yeah.
Which I'm doing right now.
We didn't get in trouble for that first segment, but that's all right.
That will upset somebody.
I wait for our woke constituents in the New Game Plus group to have a go at me.
Well, they can listen to that or watch the Biden-Trump debate and decide which one they enjoy.
Which one is worse? Two old men rambling.
Yeah. Well, I haven't nodded off like Biden. Yeah. God, some of the footage is shocking. Anyway, the Ubisoft. Okay, we trapped in this. I'll construct this better. Firstly, Ubisoft have announced they're making multiple Assassin's Creed remakes. Not one, multiple, right?
I believe it.
Okay, so we go to the point now where every time a new console that comes out, there's new Skyrim's released or The Last of Us comes out on everything. They're talking about a new PlayStation 5 Pro, and there's going to be a Last of Us remake for that. Are we stuck in this hell where AAA developers have just sucked everybody so much they only have like 3 games they're going to release for the rest of time?
It's two-pronged. I think it is the shareholder thing coming through. That game made us $100 million last time, more.
Let's do it again.
If we release it again. And I can understand it to an extent when it's hardware locked. Stuff like there's so many PS3 games. Like if Sony cared, they would release Tokyo Jungle on PS5. And I would buy
that on stream. That's fun.
Buy that in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah.
So there are games where I'm like, this is landlocked. It can't. It's hardware locked. You can't get rid of it. You can't. So you can't play it. You can't remove it from that platform without having that platform still. And it's like, well, finding an operational PS3, you can't buy it anymore, so you have to pirate it basically, or you have to have already owned it, which I do. You've got so many games that are like that, and I think there's an argument to be made for that. In the same way that, you would have Mario anthologies of the old games on Super NES, which was released 10 years later. That I can understand. But remakes, especially Ubisoft remakes, at the start of it, they had like Beyond Good and Evil, and it was like at the start of Beyond Good and Evil, there's now a Looney Tunes-esque disclaimer. It was a product of its time. It has certain racial stereotypes.
What the fuck's wrong with what?
Yeah,
seriously.
For Beyond Good and Evil. It's not like it's Looney Tunes, and even nowadays you can have Porky Pig because the people who actually care about it aren't the people who suffer from the
Meanwhile, Star Wars fans watch Jar Jar Binks and just not notice anything.
Misa, sorry. Yeah, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, are you for real?
So, but wait, see, they do that because I was actually going to bring up that they're releasing Assassin's Creed remakes, but there's still no Beyond Good and Evil 2.
They had an announcement the other day. Oh, we're still working on it. No one wants it. No one cares. You've got rid of Michelangelo. No one cares. And so it's that thing of, I think, modern Ubisoft culture, which is just trying to be, and this is the problem.
Trying to be too safe.
It never wants to cut through. It didn't want to really have a go at America. Yet it did the American setting. But then when you did Cuba, suddenly, you can have a real thing. You can have all these old, the old revolutionaries and all this, this real conversation around modern Cuban culture. But you can't do it for 5 because it's like, well, we don't want to say the American military complex is bad, but it is bad. It's literally like you're hinting at it, but you're not doing a good enough job of saying this is why. The opioid epidemic, like you're caging it to things so as not to offend anyone in America, and you know, like I always lament them for not going after like the they had a Christ-like figure instead of a Trump-like figure, because modern days, it's going.
Have you seen his ads? Anyway,
it's going to be that kind of populist, over-the-top leader that's going to drag everyone into that space, right? Not an actual cult leader, you know what I mean? Like, and I get that they were doing it, but they were just weak on the punches. Like, they didn't throw any punches. They just didn't want to upset anybody. And I think that's modern Ubisoft to a T. They don't want to upset anybody. They don't want to tell a story. They want to avoid upset. They want to sell games. They don't want to tell stories. And that's what we're learning is, like, you can do Helldivers, and the second it fucks up is the second Sony gets involved. You know what I mean? Like, the game is fine. It tells its story. It does what it wants to do. Then Sony gets involved, and suddenly we've got to worry about the money.
If I was cynical, I'd suggest they're just going to re-release them with stores.
Yeah.
So, we're at the time, so to throw a hand grenade, we might approach this next time because this is going to be as much fun as the Dr. Disrespect one. But we've finally got an Assassin's Creed game set in Japan.
So, the Yasuke stuff aside, right? And like, I find it's a little bit funny that his name is Yasuke, and so it's like all I can think of is Yas Queen. As soon as I hear his voice, that's all I hear when someone says it. It's the wrong period. It's the wrong kind of Assassin's Creed game. In that, like, I mean, everyone's like, you can believe magic artifacts, but no, I can believe magic artifacts, but I also can believe it followed the trade routes. You look at the different ones. It was it was the Middle East, then it was Italy, Mediterranean separates them, fine, right? Yep. Then it was 3 was America. So by that time, the New World had been discovered. 4 was pirate era, so it was in like the pirate era. So you had it's following the trade routes. It's making sense on how this spread from the Middle East, right?
Think of that. That's cool.
Yeah. So so what was 5? England makes sense, right? So if you're going to do Japan, and Yasuke's there because the Portuguese have been there, right? So that's if they don't lean hard into the Portuguese being there, because that was what Yasuke's story was. He was a Portuguese sailor, and he became like
the black guy.
Yeah, he didn't become a samurai. He became a sword bearer for one of them, right?
But still, doesn't it smell like the Americans just couldn't let the
Japanese
Japanese
have
a
problem.
game?
That is that, and
nothing against the black guy. It just smells like the Americans just couldn't let the Japanese have a Japanese game.
And well, there is the Japanese character.
They're French, aren't they?
Kunoichi,
so they just couldn't do it. They could have just had the Japanese male and Japanese female, but they had to make it American. They had to make it something identifiably American.
Yeah, that's why you never want to be. That's why you never want to be. That guy. I never want to be against more stories being told from different cultures. I'm all for it, but yeah, when it just feels like a marketing exercise, and this is a problem.
It does, yeah.
Everything feels like a marketing exercise nowadays.
A domination exercise, actually. You want to be brave. You want to give me an Assassin's Creed full of black people.
Yeah.
Give me an Assassin's Creed set in the Deep South during the slave times, and have some real fun with it.
I would say, give me, if you want to talk about the expansion of the Eastern trade of the European trade routes, give me Assassin's Creed Shaka Zulu, right? Give me the creation of modern South Africa as a thing, and I would 100% be more on board for that, because I feel like that's a story that doesn't get told often. But my problem is, again, I don't trust them to do it correctly. I don't trust them to upset the British by showing how bastardly the British were.
Well, give us Assassin's Creed Potato Famine.
Right, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, like, you
I'll play that.
But yeah, Assassin's Creed Michael Collins.
Come here, Cromwell.
Assassin's Creed Michael Collins, mate. Like, yeah, and so...
Assassin's Creed Django Unchained in America.
That would be, but they won't have the guts for it.
No, they don't. They don't, and that's the thing. Because I'll go, it's like, I've always complained there, and then they put a LGBT character in the game, it's always a young lesbian. And you go,
Yeah.
that's the easiest way to do it. And to me, this just smelt like the easiest way to Americanize the game, so they don't alienate the American audience by putting only Asians in it.
Well,
because they hate it. And let's be honest, the Yanks right now hate Asians, right? They're being conditioned to, and it's starting to happen here, right?
And the Chinese,
they don't know the difference because they're all fucking idiots, right?
Yeah.
They don't know. They'll just see Asians. They won't want an Asian game, so they put a black guy in because that was the way they can identifiably Americanize it. Yeah. And people are going to go, you don't like black people. No, it's because it's the Americanization of it, and they couldn't handle making a game with Asians.
Yeah, and
that's what happened.
And that's I think that's that. I mean, in 3 he was half Native American, which is the classic kind of Dances with Wolves thing. They had
Pocahontas.
Except
the genocide.
They touch on that briefly, right? And but I mean, they weren't like
Assassin's Creed Gaza.
They Forrest Gump him a lot in. They Forrest Gump him a lot in 3. 3's like, he was at the signing of the Declaration of Independence. He just had to wait outside. I'm like, oh my god, is that if you're trying to make a point with that, you didn't make the point well enough.
No, that's dumb person stuff. The Forrest Gumping of things is just how dumb people go. Oh, I recognise that thing.
It's member berries. It's member berries. And that's what I mean. Like, I feel like if you're if you're not showing how the conspiracy affected the institution of it's the British were the Templars and the Americans were the assassins and blah blah. And for all its faults, I didn't mind 3. I just think it was, again, like I said, I just don't think Ubisoft have the guts to really tell the stories they want to tell. And I think sometimes they do. They'll show glimpses of it, and then they'll just back away from it as quick as they can. Yeah, but I get it because they got money to make. They don't want about doing that stuff. They want to make money. So
yeah, you got to worry about your sales. I mean, it's at least a decade.
Ubisoft have been trying to hold off Vivendi for however long. You know what I mean? Like, so because Vivendi's been trying to buy them for decades, that would have been even worse. But yeah, I don't know. Look, I'm not as bent out of shape about it, but I've given up on the Assassin's Creed series. I played.
No, not bent out of shape. It just, to me, it just stunk of Americans.
Yeah,
everyone wanted an Assassin's Creed game set in Japan, and the Americans, and they knew that the Americans wouldn't buy it if it only had Asians in it because of the current climate, and they don't know the difference. Let's be honest, the Americans don't know much at all, and so that's what it smelled like to me. Yeah. And people go, black people. No, it's the Americanization thing.
It's the market. It just feels like a cynical marketing exercise, and I hate any cynical marketing exercise.
And that's what we get. And like I was going to say, it's been like a decade since anybody made a game for fun.
Yeah.
Or maybe Helldivers or something. But since a AAA studio, a quadruple A studio. How many A's are we up to now? So it's like Fonzie.
It was suddenly buying batteries. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been at least a decade since somebody just made a game from a large studio just for fun to make something and just see if it's sold. Anyway, it's to me it just smelled like American domination of a culture.
Yeah, it's just it's just a cynical marketing exercise. That's why I don't like it. Anyway, anything else to add before we go? Before we get ourselves into trouble with this one?
No, that's 2 things that we're going to get cancelled for, so that'll be fun.
Yeah,
let's see how many people listen.
Yeah. Don't forget, so newgameplus.tv, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, New Game Plus TV.
Go watch Alana Pierce's hot takes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, watch her videos on anything. I'm yet to. I've disagreed with what she said, but I've never found her to be unfounded. I've never found anything she said to be unreasonable or unfounded. I've always just thought I just don't agree with your conclusions, but I think that's a healthy way to debate that. It's like if you've come at it with a genuine good faith and a genuine wanting to learn, nothing can really go wrong. I think. It's when it's bad faith arguments, when it's obvious, rage bait, that kind of shit. That's when you got a problem.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, on that note, we'll leave it there. We'll see you next week, maybe. Well, who knows after this one?
We'll see if I'm still alive.
Yeah. See you next week.